Hi guys, I hope everybody's well. We're going to get into specific messages for you guys. I just ask that you take a deep breath in. Okay, we're going to connect with our higher self energy. We're going to tune into our own energy to see if this reading is for us or not. And we're going to call in the angel saints, ancestors, and spirit guides into our space, okay? For guidance and divine messages with love. So it is and so it will be. Okay, bottom of the deck is the Magician. So this talks about like creating your own reality. It talks about tapping into your own abilities, applying what you learn, and creating maybe even like vision boarding or some sort of conscious awareness. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we have the moon here. Wow, so it's like subconscious and conscious. So being able to have access to both in order to know which direction to take, how to move forward, what's a good investment, what's not a good investment. It's also being able to see things from different perspectives. When you're on the physical plane rules are polarity, right? It's the cause and effect, it's the positive and the negative, it's the light, the dark. And so I feel like knowing how these laws of the universe work makes it a bit easier to navigate. So I feel like you've become, the master. I feel like you have gone on this journey to kind of learn about this type of stuff. And so now you're applying it in the physical. Ten of Swords. I feel like whatever you learned, was a blessing in disguise, whatever experience this was. Okay, so this is either you've experienced the Ten of Swords or someone in the collective energy is experiencing the Ten of Swords. And this would be kind of like the last straw, okay? It would be like someone's realizing like whatever direction they took landed them in some sort of like difficult situation. Maybe one that they didn't see coming, maybe one that was cloaked, or there was some sort of illusion or something hidden, okay? I feel like somebody found themselves in a trap almost. All right, I do have the Two of Wands and the Six of Swords. So there was this free will choice that was made to take the direction that was taken. And I feel like maybe one of them, I'm getting like there's an energy that moved forward without really looking back and like chose peace over like chaos, I'm getting. So I feel like somebody may have continued to try to hurt somebody where the other one just moved on. Okay, so I feel like somebody might have, this awareness at this time that, maybe this battle isn't worth it. Maybe they're finding themselves in difficult situations as a result of the choices they've made. And I'm getting there's this energy of moving on regardless of what's happened, right? It's kind of like taking the good with the bad, okay, and creating something better with it. So it's kind of like everybody has a free will choice how they're going to handle a situation or an experience. And I feel like the polarity of that based on how you handled the situation versus how they handled the situation is visible. Okay, I feel like there's this, lesson playing out here. I feel like someone, struggled with their codependency, maybe tried to fulfill some sort of fantasy. I'm getting that they got caught up on earthly matters. Okay, so this would be like lust, false sense of security, like wealth, like the promise of wealth, but not actually receiving anything. They may have entertained a lot of options. I feel like maybe someone's out of options. I feel like somebody maybe feels like everything that they've experienced so far has not really gone in their favor. They're unhappy. I feel like there's some emotional instability here. There also could be like a deficit or lack of emotional awareness even, or maturity. Yeah, it has something to do with choices in love and not feeling like what you have is enough. So then you go and entertain others when the other person and you have like a commitment of some kind, because the Lovers also talks about choices in love and the choices you make when you do have a contract with somebody. I feel like this is also like soulmate energy too. So someone might realize that like this went south. Something went very south. Okay, got something flipping upside down and then back right up. I like literally did a flip. 7 of Swords. Someone thought that their plans were going to work out, but come to find out they didn't. So there's some sort of energy of like thinking that they could like return back and you wouldn't remember all their lies or their deceptions or their betrayals. Maybe they had a certain plot or plan or, you know, collaboration. I'm getting there's this like thinking someone could get away with what they did and how they treated you. I don't think they ever foresaw you as being the soulmate energy. I feel like they didn't see that part coming. I think they had intentions to get away with whatever they thought that they would get away with, and come to find out they're dealing with karma at this time. Yeah, and then I have a 2 of Cups. So there's the Lovers, the 7 of Swords, and the 2 of Cups. And then we have the High Priestess, okay? I feel like someone's plans of returning back to you have been spoiled, okay? Because you intuitively know what this person did behind your back and what they tried to get away with. And as a result of you being able to, you know, have these abilities and know the truth, you're able to choose wisely. You also have free will choice, and you're not willing to go back and have karmic contracts and experiences with this past person because they're not in an energy at this point that is emotionally available. I'm getting they're not emotionally available. They're unavailable. So you chose yourself in this situation, okay? And you learned quite a bit in this process. This might have been like something that, you know, helped you get into your purpose or dip into things that maybe were hidden for you in your own subconscious, like, you know, what would cause, you know, this person to do this kind of thing in this dynamic. And I feel like you did like the devil, that's who. But I'm also getting there's a bit of introspection as it relates to you and your how you were living too. I feel like there's a bit of, you know, self-work here. I feel like there was a need to kind of go within and do that introspection. I feel like, you know, you're meant to work with somebody else. Okay, this could be a collaboration or a project or something that you find very devoted and committed to. I feel like this could be an expansion. This could be an evolution of something. Maybe getting to the next step, or, you know, planning for the future, maybe working with others and experiencing other contracts. But what I'm getting is there's this divine energy coming in that is some sort of commitment, soul contract here. I'm getting like there very much could be like spiritual teaching here or healing or some sort of passion project here that you're meant to do with somebody, and it's in alignment with your belief system. So you both will share common belief systems. I'm getting like the person that you dealt with in the past may have not had any of these or had opposite belief patterns than you. And so maybe now this time around, like this is a core thing for you, going into any type of relationship or partnership or even friendships. Like you want to be surrounded by those who you find like kinship with, but on a deeper level. It's not just surface level here. This is like on a much deeper level. All right. I feel like their plans have like been spoiled. Okay. And I feel like, yeah, and then I have the Death at the bottom of the deck. So this is like, you know, this was a transformative experience. So your life is much different than what it was. Okay. Yeah, look, High Priestess, you stepped into your power. You now are in tune with your spiritual authority, your abilities. You're constantly eager to learn, practice and share and guide. Like you could be like, yeah, look at the moon and the high priestess. This is goddess energy. All right. So some of this is like, you know, you really developing your abilities. Okay. I do have channeling energy here. I also have, you know, some sort of truth coming out about, you know, someone taking the wrong direction or something coming to light about what's going on in that direction as well. I feel the sort of truth is kind of like, it's like you intuitively knew all that was going on and now here's the proof. All right. So it's kind of like, yeah, all in divine timing. All in divine timing. Yeah, I'm getting the 8 of Swords. All right, so there very much could be an energy who was very envious, jealous, as a result, as it like relates to their own self-limiting beliefs, and they just projected it onto you, and as a result, like it inflicted pain. And so I feel like these swords might be returning back to them because they're not effective on you, collective. So. And then I got the Queen of Cups in reverse on the floor. So I'm going to leave it because I feel like that's where it needs to be in this moment. And we're going to keep going on. Okay. I feel like there was efforts to create some sort of blockage, some sort of illusion, confusion, maybe so that it's harder for you to make decisions or have clarity about what they were doing behind the scenes. Okay. All right, I have the Page of Pentacles. I feel like also someone is in fear of someone returning back to you, and then this karmic feminine or masculine feeling left out and abandoned. All right, I have the 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like they also tried to block any kind of like offers or growth. But I feel like you used whatever they sent your way to grow from. I feel like, you know, the 9 and Page energy talks about like something's coming in. It's going to add to your, what already exists. Okay. Which is your high vibration. You know, this is like Empress energy, like building an empire, nurturing, you know, what you've created, you know, working smartly, collaboratively, you know, appreciating all that's going on and being in a strong, grateful energy. I feel like you've used a lot of what you have. I feel like this is also talking about like a lot of experience. Okay, so I feel like you're being seen as someone who is experienced in something that you maybe are in the public eye for, or it has something to do with a passion that you have or a hobby or something you feel strongly about. So it could have something to do with like your own spirit, like what fires you up. So I'm getting like people could maybe observing you, and I feel like you getting attention from anyone else really puts somebody in like a really difficult emotional state. Okay, so I feel like they're responsible for their own emotional state, not you. All right, so I am getting the Hermits, and I have the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like maybe there's an energy that might want to offer you something, but I feel like you don't need maybe the past pentacle or offer, contract, or information. I feel like you built your own, so you're good on your own. I'm also getting like that's a thing. I feel like it's a thing because they're jealous and envious that you're doing better without them, because their whole smear campaign was that like you couldn't handle anything on your own, like you're a mess, right? Well, you're not such a mess, like at all. Like you're doing better than ever. And I'm getting like there's more where that comes from. All right, so I feel like somebody's gonna watch you continue on your path regardless of their attempts to thwart you, and you continue to nurture and bless others, right? It's like God's gonna bless you so that you can bless others, okay? Because that's, you've proven yourself, okay? And then I have the 4 of Wands, Yes, this is you coming into divine union with a counterpart, right? And being on your purpose and mission. This is you reaching this pivotal moment on your journey and path. This is you celebrating your success and the fact that you did it. This is a you did it. Heavy Virgo energy. Okay, so I feel like hermit energy, spiritual path, spiritual guide, like devoted and committed, you know, being very wise about where your energy is going, who you watching, who you talking to, all that. Like, I am the prize, okay? So that's clarifying the Two of Cups, the Four of Wands, which is awesome. And then I have Temperance. Okay, I feel like you've been very patient, all right? So patient. So patient though. Sometimes like you might, you know, the past wants to kind of like, so you've done a good job of pouring into things that bring you joy, happiness, to help regulate your energy and alchemize whatever you are meant to alchemize, okay? And I'm getting like Hierophant, Earth Angel energy, Messenger, Divine Messenger. And then I'm apparently meant to share something. Hold on a second. Yeah, look at it. It says, angels are the energetic bridge between the higher and lower realms of consciousness. These messengers of God are here to help whenever you call on them. So that's what this Temperance energy is, okay? And the Hierophant, they're clarifying each other. So this is your purpose here, if this is resonating with you. Okay, Death at the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Eight of Cups. So you're going to be called to leave something that is going to be more fulfilling. And I feel like it's going to be very inspiring, creative, working with others and collaborating, because that's what you came here to do. And I feel like this is like you keeping your eye on the prize. This is like you embarking on that journey to co-create new experiences here. That's beautiful. Wow, all right. I'll get one more. Yeah, Six of Pentacles. Yeah, you're meant to come across those who you are meant to help, assist, guide. Again, like God using you to bless others in whatever way that is. Sometimes it's simply an act of kindness and service. It could be mentoring, it could be teaching, it could be, you know, sharing in whatever format that is. I feel like, you know, this is something you're meant to contribute to. You might start by like sharing your own personal experiences, what you've been through, your story, because I feel like you've been through a lot, and that's how we connect with one another. I feel like you could be someone who is in the healing profession. Maybe you are sharing divine messages to the collective who you're meant to speak with. Like, you're not for everybody. I'm getting like, you know, you're meant to help people, like be the bridge too. So, you know, being able to share divine wisdom, guidance, healing, you know, some sort of advice as well. I'm getting someone feels very much in their, like, woe is me, like feeling like everything they try to do, there's some sort of obstacle in the way. And sure, like some of these obstacles are what make you who you are today. And so I feel like it's a perspective thing. Four of Swords also about perspective. And seeing how not everything that happens to you was to hurt you. It's usually for you. And so I feel like that's like a higher perspective that you might be sharing with others to help them on their path. Or just in your family or at work. Maybe you're like a problem solver. I don't know. There's so many different ways in which we can, you know, be of service to one another and support one another. And then I have the Eight of Wands. I feel like things are going to be picking up, okay? Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. And then we also have the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like you're going to be booked and busy, baby. Booked and busy, all right? Don't let it get to your head. I feel like you've overcome quite a bit. Continue to stay confident and committed to what you're here to do. I feel like you've overcome the challenges of Earth, and now you're able to see things from a different perspective. I feel like there is you do, I feel like there's this with the with the Strength card and the 9 of Swords, I'm getting like people see you in a different light now, maybe than how they saw you before. And I feel like they're concerned, they're worried. I feel like you overcoming your challenges kind of makes other people face theirs in their own way. Maybe they didn't anticipate having to do that when they interact with you. It's like you kind of force them to awaken or pay attention to what's keeping them stuck in their life. So you're somebody who might like be like someone who unlocks people or kind of triggers them into an awakening, or, you know, your energy will kind of be a mirror to them for reflection. Oh yeah. And then it's like they see you in your purpose, and then they have to like analyze their own situation. All right. Oftentimes judgment is like self-realization and going within to see, you know, what could be holding me back? Like, what's in my way? Why can't I do what they're doing? There's a bit of that. There's also a need to like have forgiveness of self so that you can truly move on from things that have already happened that you can't change, right? Endings are bringing new beginnings, okay? Look at, I have the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups in reverse, both on the floor, and I'm going to leave them there. Okay? Because, you know, that's not even your energy, right? That's like outside energy that thinks that it has more power than it does. And that's why it's on the floor. That's why it's in reverse. And that's why we're not picking it up. Because it doesn't belong to us, okay? I feel like this Queen of Pentacles energy here, Queen of Swords energy here is what it's all about. I feel like you're very, very much in your I'm going to do whatever it takes kind of energy, right? Like using the ability to, you know, say a hell yes, a holy hell yes, or holy hell no, right? And stick to it. Regardless of other people's experiences, you have the ability to discern what's for you and what's not for you. I feel like you're moving forward on your path and journey, and no obstacle they create will get in your way. Okay, because you'll use it to empower you to get you there faster. It's like you use whatever you can towards your mission, towards your goal. Okay, and you have the backing of the universe. Okay, they're definitely wanting to hold on to your energy. I'm also getting like this could be you preparing for a shift in your life. See if there's anything that you could still be holding on to and release it with compassion. Knight of Wands, I feel like there's this fast moving energy coming in, something that is going to kind of like cause you to move forward. Empress, or something's coming in for an Empress. I feel like the Empress is in her passion and her purpose. She's creating with intention. Let's see. Yeah, here's what's coming in is the counterparts, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, okay, is what's coming in. And nothing's gonna stop this, y'all. Nothing, not a darn thing. All right, and that's what is on its way. Look at balanced energy and the physical. Yes, both of you had to overcome your own challenges in order to meet up on this path. I feel like it's time to meet up. It's time to be in union with oneself, right? Feminine, masculine. But I'm also getting with one another. I feel like there is some common purpose, mission, quest, right? Pilgrimage that you're meant to go on. Yes, there is this energy that wants to have a say or control it or get involved, but I feel like you know this. And it's this past energy, okay? There's nothing new that comes from the past, okay? So the devil wants to use this past energy that you dealt with to come in and try to manipulate the situation, okay? I feel like they're still dealing with their karmic in the background, if that's a feminine or masculine, all right? And then, yeah, they're experiencing their own heartache and betrayal and pain as it relates to their situation. They're in the Four of Cups, feeling sorry for themselves while you experience victory and success. You have learned what you needed to learn in this contract. You have fulfilled your soul contract here. And as it relates to that, your hopes and dreams are coming true with the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you're moving on towards emotional fulfillment and you're enjoying your life. I feel like there could be a bit of an interest in you at this time. Someone might want to throw their hat in the game or fill out an application. Let's see. Wheel of Fortune. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. I remember earlier we saw the Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Then we have the Hanged Man here. Page of Cups. Someone is realizing that they no longer have access to you or your beautiful energy, legacy, or generational wealth. Okay? I feel like that has ended. And I feel also that they surrendered this, or they have sacrificed this in some way, shape, or form, and all they can do is watch you from afar and feel sorry for themselves because they chose a different path and are not going on this one with you. So I feel like, you know, you had to choose to go alone because this energy wasn't willing to do the work. And so you had to continue moving towards your path, your awakening, your ascension. Okay, and here it is. That's the World card. This is recognizing what you set out to accomplish, you have accomplished. And, you know, your hopes, your dreams, your hard work, it's all paying off. And this is a congratulations to you. Job well done. Job well done. All right. Sending you guys lots of love. And I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you on the next one.